Trail runners completely changed through hiking. They are lighter, faster, and easier on our feet. But the trade-off has always been durability. Most shoes die around 300 to 500 miles, which means 3 to 4 pairs per long through hike. Or if you're putting in a lot of miles each year, at least a pair a hiking season. But now there is a Dyneema shoe made from the same tent and pack material that survives thousands of miles on the trail, and it's claiming a 1,000-mile lifespan. If this holds up, we may be entering a whole new era of trail shoes. So the question is, could Dyneema replace the trail runners that we have all grown to love? Hey friends, welcome back to the channel and thanks for being here today. In today's video, I want to talk to you about a new trail shoe, one made from Dyneema and its claims, and if we are moving into a new era of trail shoes, or if our tried and true trail runners as we know them today will continue to be the shoe of choice. So a number of years ago, it became very popular to move away from the traditional hiking boot into a pair of trail runners. And most of that change was because trail runners are typically lighter, they are faster, they're more comfortable, and they tend to hold up pretty well on our feet over the course of hundreds, if not thousands of miles. The problem has always been that trail runners are not as durable as boots for the most part. There may be some outliers out there, of course, as there always are. And just as an example, these are my old pair of Altra Lone Peak 5s. I took these on the Uinta Highline Trail, and they pretty much only lasted for that 107-mile trail. You can see where things are worn out, where there's not much structure, rips, things are coming, and you can kind of see the little lines here, maybe if I get it up here close enough, where the padding is compressing and not really living up to much. So kind of how they look today is almost how they looked when I finished that trail in 2023. So durability has been an issue with many a trail runner. So the lifespan of these shoes really is in that 300 to 500 mile mark. Now again, there could be some outliers on both sides where you blow out on that shoe before 300 miles or the shoe is able to last over 500 miles. Some of that is going to depend obviously on the shoe, on your feet, and on you as a person, your body, how much you weigh, your gait, how hard you kind of land on shoes, and what that's going to do to them step by step, mile by mile. But 300 to 500 miles is, I think, consensus of where trail runners last on trail. So if we look at some of the if we look at kind of the cost of that, for the most part, we could probably estimate that our trail runners are averaging around 140 to 150 dollars per shoe. I think Altra Lone Peak 9 Pluses that I just bought or bought recently were right around that mark. So when you look at the cost per mile, if you're on that low end of around 300 miles, you're looking at about 48 cents per mile. And if you can stretch that out to the 500 mile mark, you're looking at around 29 cents per mile. So as you think about kind of the cost standpoint and cost per mile, that's kind of the frame that we're looking at for a traditional trail runner. Now, again, with these trail runners where they're gonna run out relatively frequently, that 300 to 500 mile mark, now if you're on a long through hike, you gotta be planning, okay, where am I gonna get a new pair of shoes? Either purchasing them there locally or sending a resupply of some kind. And with the popularity of some of these longer trails, it may be challenging to find the shoe size that you're looking for. So going through 3 to 4, maybe even 5 pairs of shoes on a long trail, trying to find your exact shoe and that size at each of those stops along the trail could be very challenging. And that's just one other thing you don't really want to worry about when you're out there. Our feet are the most important part of our body on a through hike. And if shoes are wearing down, we can't find replacements, that just becomes another added burden when potentially it doesn't have to be. So these are some of the problems of the trail shoes that we all have grown to love. But Here's where Dyneema now comes into play. This material has been used in a lot of the high-end ultralight backpacking tents or thru-hiking tents, think Z-packs and some others, as well as some of the backpack materials that we have grown accustomed to. So the material has been tried and tested over the last number of years from thru-hikers, triple crowners, and obviously even people just going out for weekend backpacking trips. So how does Dyneema work on a shoe? Well, let's take a look at the Norda Run 001As. These shoes are made from a single piece of upper Dyneema material. All of this upper is just one piece, and it is made from a Dyneema that they call a biocircular fabric. So this biocircular fabric is a little bit different in feel than like a Dyneema tent or a pack, but similar. You'll just have to kind of feel it to understand. It is different, but it is similar. So let me go over a couple of the specs really quick just to ground us on what these shoes are. And for that, I'm going to move over here to the computer and we'll look at some of this information. So these shoes are not waterproof per se. While Dyneema is a material that is water resistant, they haven't made these shoes to be waterproof. So the claim on the website is that because of the materials that these shoes are made out of, the Dyneema uppers, obviously as well as the rest of the shoe, that these things can last 1,000 miles, or that runners have told them that they've lasted 1,000 miles or more. They're also created with a Vibram sole here, this mega grip sole. I think I still have the stickers on them, but with some pretty interesting lugs here that obviously feel incredibly grippy and like they would do a great job. The midsole is a nice cushiony feel. I've only walked around my house in these a little bit just to see, and you can definitely feel a bit of a spring with the material that is made from this midsole. So the claim here is that these shoes can last 1,000 miles on the trail. I've not tested that out, obviously. There have been others who have, primarily runners. If that's the case, this changes a little bit of that cost per mile scenario that we talked about with the trail runners. If these shoes can last the full 1,000 miles at around $295 a pair, that puts it around 29 cents a mile. If let's say they last 800 miles, that puts us at around 36 cents per mile. So that 200-mile difference shortens the gap from the trail runners from that 300-mile to 500-mile, or 800 miles to 1,000 miles. 48 cents for the 300 miles, 36 cents or so for these if they last 800 miles. So our cost per mile range shortens with these if they last as they claim. And from a resupply or a long distance trail standpoint, it might be easier to know that you only need 2 pairs, 3 pairs at the most of these to get through a long through hike versus 4 to potentially 5 or more of the trail runners. Now, that may be a big deal to you, that may not be a big deal to you. For the maybe more average hiker and backpacker who's getting out on trail 300 to 500 miles in a whole entire season, these shoes might be able to last you 2, 3, 4 years of being beat up if you're only getting out for, that 300 to 500 miles per season. But just because a new material exists doesn't mean that it should replace or will replace our trail runners. So what would have to be true in order for that to happen? So to replace a normal trail runner, I think there's a few things that Dyneema would need to prove to you, to me, and to really all of us who have loved trail runners for so many years. And I think first and foremost is comfort. Are these shoes, is this Dyneema going to be comfortable? I like the fact that it's a single woven upper and that we're not dealing with lots of different materials and stitches and sewn in places. I think that helps with comfort in terms of how that fabric sits on your foot. And as you're moving and it's rubbing on your foot, whether that's your toes, the top of your foot, there are less points of friction. So in theory, the design sounds like it will likely be comfortable, but that also depends on the other pieces of the shoe, the midsole and the sole plate or the bottoms here. And if those things are going to be interesting, if they are going to feel soft and nice on the feet. But comfort is going to be the first thing that this Dyneema shoe is going to have to prove. Number 2 is durability. Will these shoes really last 1,000 miles or somewhere close to that? I don't know that it has to be exactly 1,000 miles, but if it is in that 800 to 1,000 mile range and that this shoe can last that long, that is pretty impressive versus the shoes, the trail runners that we all have grown to love. I think number 3 then comes back to the cost per mile. These shoes are not cheap. They ran me, again, I purchased this with my own money, $295 exactly. Free shipping, which was nice for a shoe that cost this much. But again, that cost per mile, are these going to deliver at that 36 to potentially 29 cents per mile? For the cost of $295, are these going to break apart or fall apart in around the same mileage as a trail runner? In that 3 to 5, I would maybe even say 600 mile mark, it may not be totally worth it. So can they live up to the claim that this will save us a little bit of money in the long run? And I think at a minimum, they've got to keep up with what we love about trail runners. So number 4, do these things dry quickly? If you're crossing a stream and you've got to go through it with your shoes, is this material going to dry out as quickly as our trail runners? And the 5th piece is going to be availability and sizing. Can we find these if we're on a long trail, on the PCT or on the CDT or the AT? Can we find these shoes? Are they available, number 1? And then are the sizes available to make them worth it? And number 6, how do these things work in the field if there is a failure or a catastrophic failure? Will they be able to be repaired in the field to get us to where we need to be to replace our shoes? So we've seen plenty of times where there's been blowouts of trail runners, duct tape or gorilla tape is used. Maybe there's some sewing that can be done to kind of keep them together until we are able to get into a town where we can get a new pair of shoes. So are some of those same easy trail repair tools in our toolkit able to work on a Dyneema fabric on a shoe like this? So I have 2 pairs of shoes that I'm going to be testing. One will obviously be these Nordas as kind of the challenger to the trail runners. And the incumbents will be the Altra Lone Peak 9 Pluses that I have purchased last fall and will be using as well. For my 2026 hiking adventures, will it be the Norda or the Altra? That's what I'm going to be testing out through the winter a bit and into the spring and early summer before my hiking season or my adventures really start. I want to see the difference between these 2 shoes. I'm going to go based on comfort. I'm going to go based on the durability. I want to understand, the breathability, the ability for these things to dry when they are wet. And so that's going to be the test into this early part of 2026. I will be testing these things on the trail. I've got great trails where I live here, very close by. I'm usually up and on the trails 2 to 3 to 4 times a week, doing shorter little 3 to 7 miles, let's say. And when I can on the weekends, I can get up and do the 12 to 15 to 20 miles, which is where these will be tested through the early part of 2026. Then I'll say, at least right now, these are the choice for my 2026 Thru-Hike. I know the Ultra shoe pretty well. I think the 9 Pluses have some great features that were added to them versus the previous models, especially the one that I pulled up earlier. So this is where kind of my focus is and where these are the incumbents, that this has to be beat. Now, what would it take for the Nordas to beat the Ultras? Well, that's going to be obviously in a lot of what we talked about, the durability, the breathability, and more so the comfort of this shoe. Is this something that I would feel comfortable wearing for hundreds of miles on a thru-hike or in a season? I don't have my full plan for 2026 inked in yet or put into cement, but I'm kind of penciled it in. I'm probably waist deep in my planning for what I think will be a pretty awesome and epic adventure this year. So I really need these shoes, whichever pair to deliver, because this might be the longest trip that I have ever done, and one that I am very, very excited about. So if Dyneema can really live up to its claims, this could have a pretty massive ripple effect on the hiking community and trail shoes as we know them. And if they really do produce like they claim to, you could see a lot more shoe companies and manufacturers begin to use that same Dyneema in their shoe. And again, we may see trail runners as we know it and that kind of industry start to change pretty quickly and rapidly based on a material that's potentially producing like these claim to be. So now, friends, I am curious what you think about Dyneema on trail shoes, trail runners. Comment below. Do you think that this is something that is a gimmick, or do you think that this might have some actual staying power in our hiking community? I'm putting these to the test this year, and you can follow along and I will share with you what I am learning with these shoes. Shoes have been a big deal for me and a big pain point of mine in 2025. So if you'd like to see the list of things that worked and did not work on my through hike of the Tahoe Rim Trail, I will link that video here. And with that, friends, thank you so much for being here. I genuinely and sincerely appreciate it. We'll catch you all in the next one. Peace.